here. And then we have the perspective of the world is getting so goofy and silly, you might say. Last November, Saturday Night Live, they introduced a comedian, Cicely Strong. She played Goober the Clown. The skit was praised by many, words like brave, brilliant, powerful. Here's what she said: I had an abortion the day before my 23rd birthday. People keep bringing it up, so I've got to keep talking about it. But it's a rough subject, so we're going to do fun clown stuff to make it more palatable. See, that's the perspective of the world. Do you think that they would be wanting to even call it murder? Obviously not. You know, it's just tissue. There's any way they can to describe the reality of life, describe that away to make themselves feel better. So they just have clowns that have had abortions, female clowns, and they just kind of make fun of it. That's kind of where we are today. I just want to talk about a minute, too, about there is hope. There's a lot of good signs on the horizon. There are many heartbeat bills now that are being presented, you know, in many states. Texas, just this past week, I think they got the approval. Something went to court, but it ended up withstanding their heartbeat bill. Many other states are doing the same thing. That's good news. The Supreme Court of the United States, of course, is hearing Roe v. Wade. That's good news. A lot of people are or at least we're very encouraged about that. They're probably going to make a decision June or July or something like that. Abortions are down, as we mentioned. There are more CPCs being established, or those kind of places, and less clinics. Many are closing. This past week, I heard about a clinic in Fort Myers that had been doing abortions for 46 years, and now they're closed. I call that good news. 40 Days of Life is obviously a pro-life ministry, and they just go to centers and all they do is pray, I believe. They saved twice as many babies last year as they did in 2020. That's good news. You might have heard that Governor Youngkin, I think he's Virginia, thank the Lord he replaced that other fellow, Northam, that was, you remember a couple years ago, he's the one. I remember seeing, he was doing a radio show, but they showed the video, and he's sitting in his nice suit talking into the microphone and talking about letting a baby be born, laying it on the table, and then letting the mom and the doctor decide whether or not they keep the baby. Is that a woman's body? Is that a woman's body? I'll address that also in a few minutes. So Northam is gone for at least a little while, and Youngkin has come in, and one of the things he's created is an ambassador for the unborn position in his administration. That's a good thing. There's people that are, designed, brought into the position. What can we do for the unborn? So I just want to say we have made some headway. I do have some other articles about that, but I've got to move on. I realize that. So just to see that as a background. And also, again, as we've said many times before, God has already spoken on this. Let's do a couple of verses here. God created life, Genesis 2:7. The Lord God formed man from the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. So life itself, from our perspective, we don't believe in billions of years. We believe the earth was maybe 10,000 years old. But human life, all of life, began with the God of life. And he spoke most of the world into existence. Let there be. I was just rereading it this morning in the different days. Let there be, let there be, let there be. All of these different things. And here it specifically talks about God forming the man. I kind of get the idea again of God, and it's not quite this way, I know, but in my mind I get this picture of God forming. Like taking clay and making something out of it. And then he breathed into life, into Adam, and gave him life. And then he took the rib from Adam and made a woman. And so God is the giver of life from the beginning. But not only that, so that's obviously very important. Those of us that take a biblical position, and where some people are wondering how life got here, or they're saying again it came from the first cell that developed into such and on to where we are today, that kind of craziness. What was their expression? From the goo to the zoo to you, if you've heard that before. From the goo to the zoo to you. That's what some people believe the idea is. But we believe that God created life from the beginning. But not only that, he created us. And I believe this as well. Job recognized this in Job 33:4. The Spirit of the God hath made me, and the breath of the Almighty has given me life. So it's not just Adam and Eve, it's you and I. Now, there was a process that he used to do that, and I think we'll even talk about that in just a minute as well. Psalm 100, verse 3, know ye that the Lord, he is God. It is he that hath made us, and not we ourselves. So for the believer, our starting point is that we've been created, and then we might want to ask the question, why? Why were we created? And I'll give you the short answer, because that's not what all this sermon is about. We've been put here to live a life to glorify our Creator. There's a purpose. And we've seen this, and I think most of us believe this, when many people, and taught in our public schools and brought up in those particular environments, believe that we were just evolved from creatures, and then it takes away our purpose and meaning in life. Then we can kind of do what we want to do, and we feel like, at least, there should be no accountability. I think we're seeing that in a big way, even in our politics today. People doing what they want to do and not wanting to be held accountable. It really does stem from this idea, and we're animals anyway. It really doesn't matter. You know, some of the laws of the land right now, they're getting worse. They're just pulling away, in some cases, the requirement to punish some people that are doing crimes. It started out a couple of months ago, before that, where I think it was California, where if you steal less than $900 worth of merchandise from the store, they were not going to take you to court. But now it's getting worse than that. And some of the different, I just heard it the other day on the news, some of the different cities that are, they're lowering their penalties for jail for serious crimes. New York City is a terrible situation. I don't want to get into all that right now. But the idea, see, when you cast out God in a situation, then you're going to compromise when it comes to, well, who said that you should make that law? And how do you know that should be the punishment? And this is where it goes when